The intention of this episode is really to pull back, not just necessarily like a veil, but the facade that the online space can really create and showcase to you some of my highest highs and lowest lows that have arisen over the last 2 weeks. And with everything, it has been such a lesson and opportunity, and I want to share with you within this episode those lessons as well as the circumstances that have arisen and the gift of the tools that I've had available and the support around me to move through this to still deliver incredible magic. And that's what we're also going to talk about, that as much as you may be going through some of the shittiest moments and really be blindsided by individuals you trust, how you can still overcome and move through some of the adversity as well. Alongside this, with the no BS, like the realness, peeling back any sort of facade, I do just want to give you a gentle reminder that I had held a free, highly valuable masterclass last week, which was one of the beautiful things, called Rooted, Rested, and Rich. And right now the replay is available, but only until Sunday. I have the link dropped in the show notes. So be sure to access that, especially if you are an entrepreneur growing your business. There is not just like tangible opportunities that you will take away and run with through this masterclass, but even more importantly, a shift in your own perspective, a shift in your mindset, and a very exclusive opportunity to work with me in the upcoming cohort of Frequency Business Mastery, which gets started again on June 14th. So if you have been waiting for this, do not walk at the time of which you are listening to this episode. It's time to run, because we are getting started next Wednesday with these calls, with the 3 months together, with a very intimate cohort. So I'll tap into that a little bit more as well, and can't wait to share with you all the details and being just open and vulnerable with my heart in today's episode. Welcome to the Living Connected podcast. I'm your host, Mallory Meyer. I'm a multi-six-figure online entrepreneur, founder of White Wolf Reiki, and creator of the Frequency Business Mastery School. I weave together the metaphysical with the science of the subconscious mind and timeless business principles to help you take your passion for serving and empowering others full time. I'm not just here to teach you how to build a profitable and aligned business, but to invite in more authenticity, awareness, clarity, and certainty in what, who, and how you serve. In return, to generate more sales as you cultivate greater confidence and wealth through deeper self-sovereignty and advocacy, inviting in a trauma-sensitive approach to protocols and processes in our marketing and selling as we honor each client's humanity in the process of living more connected. This podcast is here to connect you further to your self-mastery for business, your lifestyle, and of course, your mindset. Join me on my mission to uplift and elevate the collective to love and light. If you ever feel like you're also just really being challenged, really being faced with, again, I want to say adversity, you're faced with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fear, frustration, confusion, I just invite you to even come back to this episode where you can be, whether it's re-sparked, reignited, really just understand that everything is such a blessing and a teacher for us on this path. And I truly believe as well that Spirit is just showing me this lesson right now within the experience that arose this past week to really help me not just recalibrate for the next level clients that I'm here to serve, but also just take me forward in my business in such a different way. So I'm going to tap into that very shortly, but I do want to just give you a better painted context of what has been unfolding, because I did go a little MIA here from the podcast just with everything that truly transpired. Like, it feels like the end of a chapter, and this is why this is all surfacing as well, to start and rewrite a new one, to have a new beginning. At the very end of May, and this was so unanticipated in how it all came through, but literally every single package, program, cohort, one-to-one client, aside from one, which we're going to get to, ended. Their services, the contracts just concluded in May. And in that last week of May, I kid you not, I felt like a chicken headless at times because of the volume that I put on my calendar. Boundaries again coming up around my own people-pleasing tendency to want to be able to serve, to want to be able to give in the best capacity possible. But at the same time, I really pushed that a little too far personally for myself. But also just kind of witnessing those highs that week, being showered with so much gratitude, so much love. And I'm just tremendously still in a place of feeling so overjoyed and connected. And of course, just feeling that reassurance of this is why. Through these periods of times, it was almost like I had to see that to remind me and hold on to it, to be able to withstand, along with a lot of the tools in my toolkit, especially around regulating my nervous system, to move through the week that I've also just had. And I am so, so grateful to just even acknowledge from those closures within May and everything that had to come to its end, the opportunity to still re-sign with those clients in a different capacity moving forward. So I'm weaving in a lot of, in today's episode, the power and the beauty through tribulations, through when spirit, when source, when universe, ultimately divine, is showcasing to us where do we need to tighten things up to. Now, let's get into the thick of things, because I really do feel very blessed through, at this point in time, 2.5 years being in business, serving many, many, many beautiful entrepreneurs. I've only had one essentially ghost me. Now, that being said, it was a one-to-one client in a 6-month container, and we were about only 2 months in. They had paid for their services, and I just want to really emphasize that because this is part of the sting. And they just essentially had a lot of personal aspects unfold for them and ghosted. Now, this recent situation that arose, we had the recent Sagittarius full moon, strawberry full moon, and I will recall, I was just lounging out on my Sunday, and this is how strong I've just been receiving messages, receiving guidance, really tuning in. And in my bath, all of a sudden I had this huge surge in my gut tell me this one-to-one client who recently got started about a month and a half ago as well is gone. Now, communication is paramount with me in relationships with clients, and they had been a little MIA, but the biggest part of this that was really impacting my own, I'll say, confidence and energetics was I had, and this is my lesson, provided one-to-one coaching sessions, transformational resources into frequency business mastery curriculum, also the support. And here is my biggest lesson, of course, is I went way too flexible on my payment plans for my one-to-one coaching to get started with this individual, to be able to provide that level of support, of resources, of calls without having the payment first. Because there's a small outstanding payment for what was already delivered, services were rendered for May that still hasn't been provided. And yes, this is a hill that I'm going to die on because it is something, again, when we're talking about integrity, when we're talking about ethics, with clients specifically, when you receive, and I know for myself, and this is why it also just really has been an upsetting period of time just to kind of witness. I would never take and I would never ask a coach to give me something if I knew I could not invest, if I knew I could not have a discussion and make that conversation open and feel safe to open it, especially as well for the individual, to talk about even better payment plans. And on top of this, again, it's just the matter of this lack of communication. So I'm going to leave that piece there because there's still more. Don't get me wrong here, but I just want to bring this awareness in. And this happens. And when this happens, it is so critical, not only how we approach with empathy, with consideration, without making assumptions of what may be unfolding in someone's life, and how to go about in that communication to still get your payment, to still uphold, again, the contract that was signed in some sort of way, and again, move forward in a beautiful way without having harm completely done either. And what I really, really leaned into at this point in time was somatics, was moving that energy. I also was so grateful to have seen my own Reiki master to clear energy and really just not allow my power to be drained by someone like that, and really give my focus into the high value, the high caliber clients that I know, that I have received, that are still with me at this point in time. And I guess that's just kind of like a nice note to emphasize again that free masterclass, because the feedback that I received from those individuals that have been open to share, that especially were live, was just so resounding and really reminded me again of the beauty, of the magic, and of course, those that are really stepping into this opportunity to take things further, both in the period of this point in time, but also in the future, already making deposits. And so this is part of that magic that can unfold when I was still, call it like spiraling in some sense, and very much feeling out of sorts and ungrounded. So before I get into the other thing too that arose, where I was just like, what is happening, Spirit? Why are all these things, of course, just combusting at once for me with that one-to-one client? It's closed. Like, it's not something that I am open to essentially exploring further because of, and this is going to tie into the next segment, but respect and appreciation for the depth of the work that I offer. And it was really this aspect of process, protocols, changing up my contracts, and really, again, adjusting how I'm seeing my business and how I'm operating my business. Even when it comes to, and this is like the beautiful segue into this next part, of late clients to calls, forfeiting the call after a certain time and really holding my ground with that, and especially late cancellations. So, on top of everything last week too, the second out of the three kind of shattering things that were very unexpected and unanticipated was within having two clients completely just let me know in the final hour that they were not, one let me know in the final hour, I should say, the other one didn't even show up. And it was just, again, like, your session's gone. This old Mallory identity of, okay, we can reschedule it. I get life happens. There is now a firm line in the sand. And this isn't to come across of being a bitch of any sort, because this is business. And my time is so, so valuable. And the work that we put in, if you're not going to show up to your fullest to also receive, that's also just a lack of respect in some way, where my biggest hope and responsibility in the container is that you are getting the highest level of transformation and you are able to integrate feeling grounded, feeling rooted, feeling supported, feeling like you have the connectedness and engagement to equally receive. And so there are parameters, of course, within my contracts around notice and change of sessions of time. However, it does not go to the point of an hour before. And just before we dive into this third piece that kind of arose in an unanticipated way, as well as, I'll say, tapping into that beautiful magic, I do want to remind each and every one of you that is tuning in today for one, the Frequency Business Mastery new cohort, which is a 3-month live coaching experience, begins June 14th. as always, my DMs are open, my email is open. There are very flexible payment plans to the point where you could be spending $800 a month in this high-level investment where you're going to regain so much time and also just feel so much deeper piece of intuitive guidance, peace of mind, certainty, and confidence. But I don't want to necessarily go on and on about this right now because there's a beautiful link in the show notes that will guide you to my sales page. And of course, if you want to explore if that, again, is a mutual fit, feel free to send me a message. Alongside that, the beautiful individuals at Plant People is gifting a 15% discount to their beautiful products. I've been using the plant veggie gummies each and every morning with my green drink. Alongside, especially with this week, is come in hand the sleep gummies, GABA, because of course, to be able to bring back my homeostasis, to recharge, to just renew again my own energetics, my frequency, my mentality. I need a good night's sleep. This girl does not function with under 8 hours. My husband knows this very well. So these gummies have been extraordinary. You'll find that link to go shopping, to pick up whether it's some teas, tonics, bitters, gummies, vitamins. Plant People has you. Before I dive into this third element that really arose in the past week, I am a firm believer that the universe will never necessarily give us anything that we cannot handle. And the universe will always give us that of which we can. And it's kind of like that dichotomy in a sense where we desire to hit our next level, but we energetically, we emotionally, we mentally, physically, like there's so many different opportunities to look at this, but we may not have that ability to hold it, to sustain it. Whereas still, the reason why it will deliver us the things that we may not necessarily even be giving our energy and our focus and attention to is because it wants us to grow and it knows that we can manage, and it's just really an opportunity for us to even see in some form our own personal growth. And this just really ties back again to not just the nervous system tools and the embodiment and the practice that I've been really moving through in the last year, but even when I think about the masterclass itself, Rooted, Rested, and Rich, I spoke a lot around to withstand and to really be a successful entrepreneur in today's day and age. It's a call to self-leadership. And if we don't embody the tools, the processes, the theories, the beliefs that we kind of essentially preach, that we share, that we want to instill and inspire with others, well then who are we really? And this is also like a piece where, having talked about self-leadership so much in this past week, in that masterclass, it was almost a little comical too, just to witness with my guides, like, okay, you want me to step up using this tool, using this exercise, like, this is all going to be a beautiful story to share with you further down the road too, in the success that's created. Because I know even specifically outside of the somatics, there has been, and this is what I also share with one-to-one clients, but there's been really leaning into hypnotherapy, subliminals, in regulation around the states of my nervous system, as well as what it is that I'm really giving my energy and focus to desire that, and starting to see these beautiful shifts, which again, the shifts and the magic I'll tap into at the very end because there's more outside of this masterclass that unfolded this week. But that last third kind of like, call it bad things happen in 3, the third nail in the coffin here of my week was having another one-to-one client teed up, pretty much almost ready to go. The contract was about to go out to them with their payment plan structure, and had reached out to this individual, and unfortunately they just had some also unanticipated circumstances arise in their life, which I get, and just suddenly had to back out at this point in time. And again, it's not to say that I know if and when I'm meant to serve this individual and they are open to receive what magic can unfold together in coaching, then they will reach out, that they will respond, and that time will be absolutely divine. So here I am, literally feeling like I have my heart on my sleeve because we really have felt a crumble personally in this last week. However, I am taking this weekend to let it all just mirror itself even more around lessons, because I talked about boundaries, I talked about process and protocols, and also this gratitude of the delivery and the vortex of the power held in our work together invites in the renewals, invites in that opportunity for back end sales. It's not always front facing, while also having the most, like the sessions that I've been holding in the Akashic Energy Business Mastery Soul Guidance sessions, I was providing 2 in the last week, and both I still have chills in how clear the messages come through, to a way of which someone yesterday in their reading, their acknowledgement was, the only person I've ever shared that with is my husband. And the fact that you delivered that in such a way where it was just affirming, I pretty much got a download of their highest timeline of where they needed to go. They were at timeline, let's say 2. I was giving them timeline 8. And what we had to do so they could stop playing small, because timeline 8 wanted to be acknowledged, wanted to be heard. And also within the other individual, it was so much depth and so much clarity for them around past life, lineage, breaking patterns, and really just bringing forward such a new identity, a new way of being, but how to feel safe within that too. So those sessions are also still available, of course. You get 11% off your own reading, but just to make mention of, like, that magic is always available to us. And it's even reminding me of one specific client that I'm working with right now, the beautiful realm of energy and of success within less than a week, bringing on 3 clients within her special sessions, and really just having such a reframe in how they're showing up to social media. This is what reignites that spark. And it's just a reminder that these moments, we can hold them together, and it doesn't need to necessarily shut us down and take us away from the creation of what we're here to do, of the impact that we're here to have. This to me is both the definition of emotional intelligence and having a sustainable business, while also having the gratitude for the processes, for the automations, for the systems where I really needed to nurture myself and to hold space for me during periods of this week and lean on my business to do that. And this really is foundational pieces that we tap into within Frequency Business Mastery. These 3 months and that curriculum within the course that I help to support you to integrate within our one-to-one, I shouldn't say one-to-one because they are group coaching calls, but there is an option to get one-to-one support with me. But those weekly calls not only help you integrate, but they help you implement, and they help you also heal as we move through the blind spots of your mindset. This is such a vital opportunity for you to jump in. The next cohort won't be till October. And if you've been really wanting to reshape the way that you are showing up in your business and how you're feeling in your business and the results that you're creating in your business, regaining that time because you know with such certainty what will drive the needle forward to create the results that you want, this is your invitation to explore, to come find me over on IG. Is the best place to open up that conversation to see if it would be a mutual fit, regardless of if you have a coach right now, regardless of if you're in another program. that you might not have the ability to pay in full, there are opportunities that we can discuss. And of course, reshift even your mindset and reframe in what this can offer to you. So again, all these beautiful links are in my bio. And of course, if this episode has offered you not only just some solace perhaps, or an opportunity just to be like, I know I'm not alone in these experiences, I would just love to hear how it landed with you too, because entrepreneurship, of course, can at times feel like a lonely journey, which I'll plug in the mini mind again. You are with a beautiful cohort of entrepreneurs moving through celebrations and challenges. But also, I'm just here to give you the real talk, the real truth, and how to remain connected to your soul's mission. Because at times, especially when you grow and you expand your power, individuals will want to take that away at times too. So it's all about our energetics, calling it back, feeling that resiliency of our own, feeling revitalized. And of course, you are here to be seen, you are here to be heard, you are here for such a beautiful possibility and transformation, not only in your own life, but in the lives of others. And just last but not least, really, I always am so grateful for your follow, for your share of this episode, of this podcast. It really helps just bring more visibility. And of course, if you want to hear about upcoming offers, opportunities, especially within After Frequency Business Mastery, this mini mind cohort starting June 14th closes, I will be focused in on Reiki, because those certifications are coming up this summer. So I can't wait to tap into that more. And of course, if you are inspired and you want to take this further, all the opportunities to work with me, you will find in the show notes below. Have a beautiful weekend, and sending all my love.